In a few years, this kid who had nothing but his cheap webcam streaming from his bedroom became the most famous streamer in the world.
50 million on my birthday, chat. I worked so hard for this, bro.
This isn't just about being loud or getting lucky. IShowSpeed had a meteoric rise that almost ended in a total crash. He went from a bedroom superstar to nearly being cancelled and losing everything. He made mistakes, big ones. He said things that almost shut his career down forever, but then something happened. Instead of disappearing, he changed his path. He started a redemption arc that put him on a global map that nobody thought he belonged on. From the streets of Ohio to the feet of Cristiano Ronaldo, and from a villain to a global hero. This is the truth about the rise, the fall, and the redemption of IShowSpeed. So imagine you're in Indonesia or Norway or Brazil. You're just walking down the street when suddenly thousands of people start sprinting. They aren't running away from something, they are running towards a car. And inside that car is a 20-year-old kid named Darren Watkins Jr. Most people know him as IShowSpeed, and he's doing exactly what his name says. He's moving fast.
Fire!
But his story didn't start with fame. It started in his bedroom with his PlayStation, a webcam, and a YouTube channel. To understand the world tour speed, you have to understand the bedroom speed. Let's look at the timeline of how he started, built his empire, nearly destroyed it, and the exemplary strategy that not only redeemed his career, but turned him into a global icon. Born on January 21, 2005 in Cincinnati, Darren's life experienced a big change shortly after. His parents separated. Now, for a lot of kids, that's a really tough spot to be in. But Darren did something special. He maintained a great relationship with both his mom and his dad. This might seem like a small detail, but it actually became the secret sauce for his career. Having both of them in his corner, even in different houses, gave him the support he needed to be, well, a little bit crazy on camera. 2017 was the year he started uploading gameplay videos on YouTube. But he wasn't just a gamer. In high school, he was a star athlete. If you see how fast he runs today, you know he wasn't joking when he said his backup plan was a pro career in football.
If I wasn't streaming, I would have took the athlete route. Maybe football.
3 years passed. 3 years of uploading to almost nobody and streaming Fortnite to a handful of subscribers. It was beginning to feel quiet. Then in 2019, he decided to start streaming consistently on YouTube. YouTube is the undisputed king of video search engine. But back then, people didn't really fancy it for live streaming. But Darren didn't care. He was ready. He turned on his webcam. He loaded up NBA 2K. Everything was perfect. The energy was there. The talent was there. He waited for the world to notice. But when he looked at the viewer count, just 2 people. One was probably his cousin and the other probably a bot. Most people would have turned the camera off right there. But Darren, he didn't see 2 viewers. He saw it start.
I had that one viewer and that viewer made me keep going.
For weeks, the number barely moved. He was grinding for every single digit. But then, Speed made an important move that instantly defined his career. He realized that in a world where everyone was trying to be perfect and professional, people were actually bored. They wanted something real. They wanted someone who reacted to video games the way we react when we lose, by absolutely losing it. So whenever Speed turned on the stream, he wasn't just playing a game, he was performing. He was barking at the screen, he was doing backflips, he was talking to a digital dog named Ben.
Okay, we friends now?
No.
The screaming, barking, and crazy stunts became his online persona, and it worked. By the end of 2019, he had nearly 10,000 followers, and by 2020, his subscriber count, tens of thousands. But 2021 was the year Speed finally woke the YouTube algorithm up. His fans were clipping his streams and posting on TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, everywhere. They got hundreds of millions of views. People came from those different platforms to join his live stream on YouTube. The result? His community skyrocketed. By April 2021, 100,000 subscribers.
And we hit 100K, come on, we on my first 100K stream, now let's get right.
2 months later, 1 million subscribers. 1 year after that, 10 million subscribers. It was no longer in doubt that he was the fastest rising streamer in the world. But here's the thing about moving at speed. When you go that fast, you're bound to crash. And for Darren, that crash was huge. He didn't realize then that millions of people were watching him. He thought he was still just a kid in a bedroom, but he was actually a leader with a megaphone. By mid-2021, Speed was widely considered the king of high-energy chaos. He also started attempting multi-platform streaming. On his Twitch account, he was constantly appearing on streams alongside other big creators like Aiden Ross, Kai Cenat, and more. Aiden would host e-dates where streamers tried to impress guests. Speed had a character he played. Whenever a girl said something he didn't like, he would bark or scream. At first, his fans thought it was hilarious. They saw it as a giant inside joke. But the problem with playing a crazy character is that sometimes you forget when the character ends and the real person begins. During a session with a person named Ashkash, things took a dark turn. Speed asked a question that was way over the line.
Say if we're the last two people on Earth and we had to reproduce to make the world continue, would you reproduce with me?
No, because that means our kids will have to intertwine and then their kids, no.
When she didn't give him the answer he wanted, he didn't just bark, he exploded. He started screaming and saying things that weren't funny anymore.
If we the last two people on Earth, who gonna stop me?
Gee,
You're not stopping me!
Ashkash was visibly upset. She told his stream that she was actually scared of him. In that moment, the joke died. But instead of realizing he messed up, Speed went into a total temper tantrum. He continued to say mean, insulting, and hurtful things. He thought he was winning an argument, but he was actually losing his future. This wasn't just a costly mistake. Aiden Ross decided to remove Speed from the call immediately. The internet started to turn on him. People weren't laughing anymore. They were asking, is this really who we want to be famous? On December 14, 2021, Twitch made it official. He was banned from streaming. They didn't just give him a timeout for a week. They hit him with a permanent ban. But this was just the beginning of his troubles. He was 16 years old, yet banned forever from streaming on Twitch. Although young, he was facing cancel culture. He had only one option: focus on YouTube, where he had a clean slate. But he didn't know yet that the biggest challenge wasn't the platform, it was himself. More mistakes happened. There were slip-ups on camera, and moments where it looked like he hadn't learned anything at all. The world was watching, waiting to see if he would just be another internet villain or he could actually change. Despite his growth, 2022 was a year of significant disciplinary action. Valorant ban. In April 2022, he was permanently banned from all Riot Games titles, following a sexist outburst toward a female player during a live stream.
Is a female talking to me?
He had to apologize.
I was completely wrong in that situation right there. I'm young, you know what I'm saying? I'm very young. That is not me no more. That clip is from months ago. I'm sorry, and that's come from the bottom of my heart.
YouTube suspension. In July 2022, he received a one-week ban for showing content from a Genesis mod Minecraft modification to nearly 100,000 live viewers, mostly kids in his age range. Sky Sports removal. In December 2022, Sky Sports removed all content featuring him. Being just 16, young and dumb was not enough to save him. If he continued on the same path, he'd successfully get cancelled. Now, Darren realized that chaos is only cool if it doesn't hurt people. He started to rebrand. He didn't just stop being loud, but he started being intentional. He needed to turn his energy towards something else, and he needed to do it fast. Fortunately, something happened earlier in 2022 that proved to be a pivotal moment in his career. Speed was already famous in America, but he wanted the world. And believe it or not, world domination started with a donation of just £1.79. A fan named Bradley asked a simple question.
Bradley donated £1.79 through Super Chat. What soccer football team do you support?
Speed's answer changed everything.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Suey. Simple as that, bro.
Now, at the time, Speed didn't know much about football. You know, the one you play with your feet. But he knew one name, Cristiano Ronaldo, and he knew Ronaldo's famous celebration. Now, you have to understand, Cristiano Ronaldo is the most followed human on earth. Over 1 billion followers. Most of those fans follow football. Calling Ronaldo a team and mispronouncing the name, it was hilarious. And Ronaldo's massive fan base loved it. That 1-minute clip exploded for hundreds of millions of views. It was in that moment that a light bulb went off in Speed's head. Football was his ticket to the top. Now, to put it in perspective, the Super Bowl is huge in America with about 127 million viewers. But the World Cup final, 1.4 billion people. Speed realized that if he followed the ball, the world would follow him. By talking about Ronaldo, Speed wasn't just talking to kids in Ohio anymore. He was suddenly talking to billions of people in Europe, South America, and Africa. He became the face of the fans. He dropped a song for Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry.
He followed that up with a song for the World Cup. But the defining moment came when IShowSpeed flew to the UK to participate in a Sidemen charity match. The world saw a new Speed. He was jumping, sprinting, and proving that if he wasn't a streamer, he really could have been an athlete. He missed the goals, and he accidentally became the most famous person in the stadium, even when he wasn't on the pitch. The football world is usually very serious. It's all about stats and trophies. But Speed brought the chaos. And strangely enough, the football world loved him for it. From the Premier League to the World Cup, everyone wanted to see the Ronaldo kid bark. Now, I earlier told you that maintaining a relationship with his dad was pivotal in his career. Here's how. The one thing about being a digital pioneer is that usually the people closest to you are the last ones to see the vision. While millions were starting to cheer for Speed online, inside his own house, it was a different story. Imagine being Darren's mom. It's 3 in the morning, you have work the next day, and from the other side of the wall, you hear your son screaming at a computer, barking at a digital dog, literally doing backflips on his bed, not to mention setting off fireworks in his own bedroom.
I didn't know. Turn that stream on.
To her, it didn't look like a career, it looked like a mess. It looked like a distraction from school and a normal life. She didn't understand the cringe. She wanted him to quit.
She told me to quit.
Yeah.
Or I'm leaving.
It got so tense that Darren actually had to move out.
Like, I'm not about to stop. Like, I was already averaging like 20 viewers. I had like 1,000 subs.
He left his house in Cincinnati and moved in with his dad in Detroit, just so he could keep the camera on.
So boom, she kicked me out. I moved to my dad in Detroit. Dad didn't really care. My dad let me. Shout out to my dad.
Think about that. To a 10-year-old watching him today, Speed is a superhero. But back then, he was just a kid who felt like he had to choose between family and his future. He felt misunderstood. But with his dad, Speed finally had someone who not only understood him, but supported him as well. He joined him in stream.
Chat, I'm gonna bring my dad in here.
And even when Speed had that infamous slip-up during a stream, his dad saw the humor in it, even going as far as releasing a funny song to roast him. This brought humor into one of the most embarrassing moments in Darren's life.
Show the meat. Cut that out. Come on, Dad, cut it out.
Now, to truly level up from internet famous to a real-world legend, Speed needed one final thing. He needed Ronaldo's blessing. He didn't just want to meet Ronaldo. He was desperate for it. It became the only thing that mattered. For 2 years, he turned his life into a global chase. He flew thousands of miles to England, and Ronaldo was benched. He flew to the World Cup in Qatar and missed him again. He cried in the stadium after Portugal was eliminated. Fans were laughing. People started saying it was impossible, that the barking kid would never get near the football god. But then came June 17, 2023, Lisbon, Portugal. Speed is standing in a parking lot. He's tired. He's been waiting for hours, and just as he's about to give up, a car stops. The driver isn't Ronaldo. It's Rafael Leao, another famous player who had already become friends with Speed. He sees Speed, rolls down the window, and says, "Wait, I'll get him." Suddenly, the air changes. A second car pulls up. The door opens, and out steps the most famous athlete on planet Earth. Now, Speed doesn't bark, he doesn't scream, he drops to his knees. You have to remember, this isn't just a fan meeting a player. This is the kid from the bedroom, the kid whose mom wanted him to quit, finally seeing the proof that he wasn't crazy. Ronaldo smiles. He knows who Speed is. He says, think about that. The son of one of the greatest soccer players of all time watches Speed. They do the celebration together.
I love you, bro.
Oh, of course, he barks. Well, once. In that split second, the gap between the internet kid and the real-world legend disappeared. Speed wasn't just a fan anymore, he was part of the game. Now, when Speed went home, things were different. He didn't just bring back a selfie with Ronaldo, he brought back a career that nobody could question. And Twitch, they lifted his permanent ban in October 2023, something that felt impossible. He became a YouTube multi-millionaire. Guess the first big thing he bought? A $1 million house for his mom, the same mother that kicked him out for refusing to give up on his streaming career. She did not only finally see what he was building, but she also enjoyed the fruits. Speed didn't stop at the new house. He realized something huge. His digital family wasn't just in Ohio, it was everywhere. He's been touring the world. He had a record-breaking live stream tour in Indonesia in September 2024 as part of his Southeast Asia trip, drawing over 1 million concurrent viewers and experiencing immense fan excitement in Jakarta, Bali, and Yogyakarta.
Oh my God! 1 million live viewers!
He streamed multiple times from the country, creating viral moments and significantly expanding its global reach. Indonesia was one of the several Southeast Asian countries he visited, including Thailand, the Philippines, Cambodia, and Malaysia. He didn't forget to take his camera to places most big celebrities never go. He went to Africa. And this is where the story gets really emotional. In countries like Kenya and Zimbabwe, thousands of fans flooded the streets just to see him. They weren't just fans, they were inspired.
Morocco. It looks beautiful to me.
Speed was actually helping people see the beauty in these countries that the news actually ignores.
That's me!
At one point, he broke down in tears because he couldn't believe how much love he was getting. He went from a kid barking alone in his room to being welcomed like a king in every country he steps foot in. And shout out to YouTube for not shutting their door when Twitch did, because if YouTube had followed that lead and hit him with a permanent ban at 16, the IShowSpeed we know today, the one visiting orphanages in Indonesia and inspiring kids in Brazil, simply wouldn't exist. He would have just been another internet cautionary tale who disappeared before his story truly began. Instead, he got a second chance and he didn't waste a second of it. Keep your eyes on the yellow. This is Mr. Vignette.